You eat when you're not hungry, you think about food all the time, but do you actually have a food addiction? That's what we're going to be discussing in today's video as I share with you the 3 types of eaters so that you can identify your specific struggle with food and find out what to do about it. So if you're excited about this, make sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I post a new video so that you can get the latest tips, tools, and teachings for how to have lasting freedom from food. And in case you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Debbie Lichter, food addiction expert and founder of the Freedom Embodied Academy. And everything I share with you in these videos are part of the key distinctions that really helped me to get free from my food addiction over a decade ago, and things that I have been teaching and helping other women with ever since. Okay, so as we dive in here today, just know that this video is not meant to diagnose you. This is meant to help you get clarity. So I really invite you to listen to the 3 different types of eaters and see what you relate to. And then at the end, I'll share with you what to do about it. Okay, so let's get into the first type of eater. This is the moderate eater. This person can take food or leave it alone. They really are just not that interested in what's on their plate. This is the friend that you have who you go to the restaurant with. They might even order a big meal, but then they kind of don't even focus on it. They lose interest in the food. They probably leave half their meal on their plate. For them, food just really is not a big deal. Food is food. They might even just forget to eat sometimes. This is what the moderate eater is like. We all know people like this. You probably think of people like this in your life. That is the first type of eater. Okay, so let's get into the second type of eater. So this is called the extreme eater. So this person might look like they have a real food addiction. They might binge, they might have, overeaten a whole lot in their life. They might make unhealthy choices, eating a lot of junk food or a lot of sweets. But here is the key distinction with the extreme eater. Given sufficient reason, let's say this person goes to the doctor. The doctor says, hey, you're pre-diabetic. You might want to change your ways, or they just feel really unhealthy, and they want to change their ways. This person can make a decision and stick to that decision. Make a decision to change their ways, to get healthy, to go off the sugar, and change their ways and never look back. I have a friend who decided one day, I'm eating too much sugar. I should just go off sugar. And he decided one day to go off sugar. That was over a decade ago. He never looked back. It was one decision, one time, and he never, ever looked back. That is classic type 2 eater behavior. Another woman that I spoke with recently was saying that, she said, I was hanging out on the couch all the time. I was eating junk food. I was really unhealthy. I was putting on all this weight. And I just decided it was high time for me to get in shape and to do something with my life. And I just decided to start getting in shape and working out and eating healthy. And that was 30 years ago. This is classic type 2 eater. They make a decision, they stick to the decision, and they never look back. So let's talk about the type 3 eater, because this is the most misunderstood and the most underserved category. So I call the type 3 eater the real deal. The big distinction between the type 2 and the type 3 eater is that given sufficient reason, let's say your doctor says that you're pre-diabetic or you just feel unhealthy, that will actually send you to a binge. That will make you feel stressed, it'll make you feel anxious, you'll be beating yourself up, and it'll actually send you to food. So the type 3 eater has nutrition knowledge coming out of their ears. They've tried practically every diet, they know what to do, and yet somehow they still fall back into the sabotage cycle with food. You might even swear off certain foods, like, I'm never gonna have sugar again, I'm not eating the carbs, I'm gonna stick to this plan, I'm not gonna keep this stuff in the house. And then a day and a time comes and you find yourself eating it again, beating yourself up going, how did I get into this again? Or you might tell yourself, I'm just gonna have one. I'm gonna have one serving, just gonna have one bite, just gonna have one cookie, just gonna have a little bit. And then as soon as you start eating, you don't wanna stop. It's like something else takes over and you do not want to stop. This is so classic for the type 3 eater, for the real deal eater. And here's the thing, is that, This person is usually highly intelligent and highly accomplished in many areas of your life, which makes this so incredibly frustrating. This, feeling of this inability to get a handle on your food creates this feeling of shame and guilt and frustration that is absolutely beyond. So this is very, very classic for the type 3 eater. Okay, so which type of eater do you most relate to? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? Post a comment below and describe what you most relate to. So I was a type 3 eater through and through. And if you relate to being a type 3 eater too, then there's something that you need to know. The entire weight loss industry, a $70 billion industry, and 99.9% of all well-intentioned health and wellness professionals, doctors, nutritionists, all this, are actually promoting protocols, programs, and plans that are designed for people in the first 2 categories. That's right, for type 1 and type 2 eaters. So what that means is that if you are a type 3 eater and you are trying to apply a plan, a protocol, or a program that is designed for the type 1 or type 2 eaters, then most likely you're feeling like a failure. You're feeling frustrated. You're feeling like there's something wrong with you because you're trying to apply a strategy that is designed for people who can make a decision, stick to a plan, and never look back. And guess what? Your solution is going to be completely different. Trust me, this is what I specialize in because I discovered a long time ago that as long as I was trying to apply the strategy that works for people who are type 1 or type 2 eaters, it was never going to work for me. And so what I want you to know is that for you to actually have freedom from food, and yes, you can have freedom from food. For you to have freedom from food, it is going to require an entirely different approach that is not even focused on food. Because your problem is not actually the food. Your problem has more to do with what is driving you to food in the first place. So if you want to know more about what this entirely different approach is, I'm going to actually leave a link below in the comments for a free download. It is my Freedom from Food Clarity Guide. It goes into a lot more detail about what this entirely different approach is, what's driving you to food in the first place, and how to actually get on your path of lasting freedom. So there you have it. Do you have a food addiction? Well, if you relate to the description of the type 3 eater, then it's possible. But what's definite is that if you do relate to that type 3 category of eater, then your solution for having freedom from food is going to be different from a type 1 or a type 2. This is what I actually specialize in. I support women who relate to having the type 3 category of relationship with food. I help them get free. And if you want to find out more about what it looks like to get my support in actually having lasting freedom from food, I will also leave another link below for you to schedule a call with my team. And on this call, what they'll be able to do is really support you in getting more clarity around what it is that you want when it comes to your relationship with food, and really more than that. And also looking at what's getting in the way or blocking you from having what you ultimately want. And then they will help you right there in putting together a mini plan so you have clarity on your next steps for your path of freedom. And they will share with you some resources that can support you right away. So if you got some clarity and value in today's video, please go ahead and give it a like. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.